Walker and Roush.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy October 1st, 2025. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. I am TJ Walker, joined by producer extraordinaire, producer Matt Childress. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing good, TJ. Beautiful day outside. It's been a pretty good day. Got some good sleep last night, after getting to go to bed early during the Reds-Dodgers game. So we're ready to go.
I listened to a lot of local radio yesterday, including here on Big X Sports Radio, of people, I don't know how I'm going to stay up. This is going to be tough. And then 4 pitches into the game, the Reds were in a familiar position.
Not a good look for Hunter Green.
Losing in the postseason, not his best stuff. I felt a little bit bad for him with the homecoming shellacking. It was over pretty early, but everybody was worried about going to bed and having a early morning, stuff like that. You didn't have to worry about it. That game was put away early for you. You didn't have to stay up for it. If you did, the Reds did not come back, but they did put up some runs. Not nearly enough. The only game yesterday that didn't come down to the final inning. An awesome, awesome first day of postseason baseball yesterday. We're going to talk about it here on Kentucky Roll Call. We'd love to hear from you on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. You text it in, we'll read it on air, and we may give something out to a texter today because I think we could use the text line. So when we could use the text line, we make it worth your while, and we'll give you some salsaritas, or we'll figure out something here at the studio to throw your way. We get to do it all again on the baseball today, starting again at 1 o'clock, and it's the exact same schedule as yesterday. It's going to be Tigers, Guardians at 1, Padres, Cubs at 3, Red Sox and Yankees at 6 o'clock, and then Reds need a win to keep their season alive tonight at 9 o'clock. So we will get into the baseball conversation. It is a beautiful day. It's hot. It's been warm this week. It doesn't feel a ton like fall, but I'm okay with that. I can deal with like these 90-degree days, these high 80 days, versus when it's like 93 or 94 in the summer. And the biggest difference for me, producer Matt, for why I can handle one and the other one's more annoying, is because even though at its peak temperature today and yesterday and what it's been really, for the last several days, it's hot. It's not the most fun thing to be out there in. It's you can manage it. It's tolerable, but it's still warm, just like it is in the middle of the summer. The beauty of this heat in the fall, or the part that makes it manageable, is that it's only for like 2 or 3 hours when you get that peak top heat. And if even that. Mornings are great. Mornings are borderline a little chilly. Evenings, they're also great. Feels good outside after you put the kids down just to go out and hang out for a little bit or go exercise or whatever you're doing. So I'm all right. Like, I can deal with 90s in the fall. I know people are like, well, I thought it was fall. It doesn't feel like fall out there. Well, it does. You're just sleeping in, you bum. Or you're going to bed too early. 85 today, 86 tomorrow, 85 Friday. We don't see a high into the 70s until a week from today. But I'm all right with it because it's only a couple of hours of the day. So, producer Matt, you'll learn we talk a lot about weather on Kentucky Roll Call. We talk about time zones and weather a bunch.
Love to hear that.
We are very anti-summer.
Don't like to hear that.
We're anti-heat. Scooch was a big heat guy.
See, I'm very anti-cold.
We can deal with the cold. Cold ain't too bad around these parts. But I can deal with the heat in the fall. I can deal with the heat in the spring. It's just when you get like 13 hours of the sun beating down on you, it's not ideal. What'd you do on your Tuesday? What have you been up to today? I heard you on Just the Cats, riveting stuff with you and Scoots and Michael Bennett this morning.
Yeah.
What was your evening like on Tuesday, and what's been up today?
Left the show for Kentucky Roll Call yesterday. Went and let the dogs out, hung out at home for a little while, watched some baseball, and then about like midway through the Red Sox Yankees game, went out to our league at 5-iron. That was fun. I was spent until like 9:45 there, so I watched most of the Reds Dodgers game there, and then went home, went to sleep. Then yeah, just got done doing just the Cats this morning. Went and got a little lunch, and then just came back and ready to go.
Doesn't sound too bad.
No, it was pretty chill. Pretty chill too. I
watched more baseball yesterday than I have the entirety of 2025 put together, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, when Scoot sent you and I the promo for the show yesterday, I thought that was hilarious.
Can we play that?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Okay,
let me try and find it really quick.
I can maybe send it over to the. I don't know how it'll work if I try to send it over, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But if you've been listening to Big X Sports Radio, which of course you have been, all day local programming starting right at 7 a.m. Sunrise with Scoots. They do. Unless I'm dealing with the kids or taking somebody to school and I get bullied into having to play a Super Kitty song at 7:15 in the morning, I'm usually listening to Scoots. I do like Scoots has really grown into his own here. His listeners have a name for themselves. His fans have a name for themselves. Do you know what it is, Producer Matt?
He told me once. I forgot. What are they called again?
They're called Sunrisers.
Sunrisers. That Sunrisers is a really interesting name.
So if you want to be a Sunriser, 7 a.m., you can get your health update with Scoots, although I did see another banana in there today. What's the deal with that? Did he not eat yesterday's banana?
I think yesterday he took it home with him. The banana is still in here from today, so I guess he either forgot it or maybe he's saving it for tomorrow. I don't know. This is This is kind of becoming his second kitchen.
Oh, no, hold on. You don't think potentially he's just using that banana as an accessory?
I hope not.
Look, everybody, I'm eating healthy. I'm carrying around this banana. If he starts carrying around a Tupperware salad bowl, I'm really going to start being suspicious that it's just for fronts. But I think he's just carrying that banana around like he wants people to talk about it. Oh, you eating healthier? And then it allows him the avenue to talk about him beating 13 girls in a weight loss competition.
And then he starts telling you about how you need more fruit in your diet.
Yep. Something is. Oh, he may have just walked back in. He's having car issues, too. It's been a rough morning for Scooch. But anyways, all the great local programming, hopefully you're listening to it. If you have been, during some of the commercials, you may hear advertisements for other shows. Just, hey, here's what you missed on the Mike Rutherford Show. Hey, you Sunrisers, here's what you missed with Scooter Dingus this morning. This is the new one that we have at the station today, based off our conversation yesterday on Kentucky Roll Call.
Kentucky Roll Call.
Bad Bunny, does he sing his songs in English?
No.
The majority of his songs are in Spanish?
They're all in Spanish.
They're all in, okay. So does he sing anything in English?
No.
So the halftime show will be a Spanish-speaking halftime show?
Yes, it will be a Spanish-speaking halftime.
Yeah, okay, so that's that's ridiculous. It is American football. It is the Super Bowl.
De lunes a viernes al mediodía, seguido de Running with Roman a las 2 en Big X Sports Radio.
All right, I'm not totally, that's hilarious, first and foremost. I guess I'm not totally crazy about being labeled maybe linguistic intolerant. I'm all for Spanish, German, Dothraki in Game of Thrones language. I like all languages. I think they're beautiful. It's great. I'm all for other cultures. I just don't want my Super Bowl halftime show, Producer Matt, being exclusively in another language.
Sounding really intolerant right now, TJ.
It's not linguistic intolerant, I promise you. I'm not being xenophobic either. I like other cultures. But for my Super Bowl, it'd be like if one Christmas, if they were like, hey, this year we're not showing any Christmas movies. We just thought it'd be like a fun goof if we did like a St. Patrick's Day and Christmas sort of stuff. You'd be like, I love St. Patrick's Day. It's cool, but no, this is Christmas. We do the Christmas stuff on Christmas. And to me, for the Super Bowl, it needs to be as Americana can get. And I just don't know if you do a Puerto Rican Spanish in Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. It's part of the United States. Do you know that, producer Matt?
I did know that.
So we're all for that. It's just you want as many people to be able to understand the words as much as possible. That makes sense?
I mean, like, yeah, it makes sense. But like I said yesterday, like it was gonna inevitably happen. Like it was just bound to happen at some point. So I can't say that like whenever I heard about it, I was like, oh, do I really care? No, not really.
What do you think is Bad Bunny's most popular song?
I couldn't tell you.
Monaco?
No idea.
Mi Porto Bonito? You said your girlfriend's a huge fan.
I mean, yeah, but I don't go home and listen to them every day. Like I couldn't even name you one song. I just hear them when she puts them on.
All right. Bad Bunny on the song is Mi Porto Bonito. Oh, I can't. Okay, I was gonna read these lyrics in English. I just can't. They're too inappropriate.
But maybe that's good.
For the whole world to see how hot you are with you. I have to go hard, and I'm loose out on the streets, but I'd quit for you. I'll behave nicely if you ask me to, and I'll upload a selfie so they can see how hot you are. The other girls have to try harder. And I'm loose out on the streets, but I'd quit for you. I'll behave nicely if you ask me to.
Sounds a lot better in Spanish.
I would hope so. Not the strongest lyrics I've ever heard from the English translation, but I'm sure it's probably a bit more catchy and upbeat. But I did love that I do love that show promo
for
fast. Kentucky Roll Call. Who did the how'd you all do it? Was that just AI?
Scoot, yeah, I guess so. Scoot said Dave did it, so the mastermind behind it, I have no idea.
Yeah, I like that they even did the Roman part.
Yeah, that was what made me laugh because I remember I noticed it because I was listening to Roman's recap on the way to 5 Iron yesterday, and right after it ended, that came on. I was like, oh, this is a fast promo. We just talked about this today, and then I heard it and like almost like swerved in my car. I was like, excuse me, what did they say?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm a fan of it. Fan of the Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. My Tuesday evening, we got up all the Halloween decorations, producer Matt. All the inside Halloween decorations.
Already, huh?
Well, it's October. What are you waiting for?
I mean, I don't know. A little closer to it's at the end of the month.
When you think of October, what holiday do you think of?
I mean, Halloween.
Okay, that's good.
It's not a holiday, though.
It's not a holiday?
Not a holiday.
Why is it not a holiday?
If you don't get off work or school for it, it's not a holiday. It's a celebration.
Okay.
Hot take. This is my opinion.
So the Kentucky Derby's not a holiday.
No.
But Kentucky Oaks is a holiday.
Didn't say it was. I don't agree with it. I know you get off work and school for it, but I mean, hey, I don't agree with it.
Going by your logic, just trying to follow along
you're
with
right.
the producer
you're
Matt.
Right. You're right. But if you do not get off work for it, it's not a holiday. That doesn't mean everything you get off work for is a holiday, though.
Okay, fair enough. What if you have a very strict job and they don't let you off certain holidays? Thus, is it not a holiday for you?
Not for you. Like when I worked at UPS, Christmas wasn't a holiday for me.
All right, but you would say that Christmas is certainly a holiday.
Yes, it is a holiday.
And if somebody takes off Halloween, would that be a holiday for them?
For them that year, yeah, they're taking a holiday off.
All right, so it is certainly a holiday. I like that take. When you think of October, though, you think of Halloween.
Yes.
So we do agree on that.
We agree on that.
And then what month is it?
It's October.
Okay. So we did finish putting up our Halloween decorations. Now, a fun quip back, producer Matt, would be to say, well, you said you did this yesterday. Yesterday was September.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I was about to, when you restated it, I was about to be like, well, you said you finished.
I just wanted it to be all done for when it was October 1st. Everything was done. No, producer Matt, the thing you have to understand, and not having Roush here or somebody that actually has known me more than just a few months, we're a big Halloween household. We do it up big, really for most of the holidays, but especially Halloween and Christmas, which are probably the two biggest for most people that do decorating. Are you a decorator?
Not really.
What's your living situation?
Well,
how much do you make before taxes? What is this?
Hold on, let me get my social security card out really
Please,
quick.
actually put that on the YouTube page. You're on the YouTube, by the way. Producer Matt's going to put up his social security number and when he is not at his residence, just in case that is prevalent to you.
Yeah, just in case.
What do you live in an apartment? Do you live in a house? Do you live with your folks?
I live back with my folks right now.
Oh, great. Good for you. That's the dream. Save up all that money, and I'm sure they probably keep a nice house. You probably wouldn't be staying there if you were slumming it.
No, it's a nice house.
Good.
All that money is a stretch, but I'm trying to do my best.
You're saving You're saving the money that you got.
Yes.
Hopefully you're saving some of the money that you got. Okay, that's good. That's all exciting. Are they decorators? What does Halloween look like in the Childers household?
Oh, they got like 7 skeletons on our front porch. Some of them are like wearing clothes. Some of them are like in different like positions and stuff. And
I love it. You can relate.
My mom wants one of those like 60-foot, like 15, 30-foot skeletons to put in the front yard. And I'm like, I don't know about it. Our neighbor across the street has genuinely like 27 skeletons in their front yard.
That's too many skeletons.
They have like a dog one. They have 2 that are doing limbo. Some of them are like dancing together. Like it's like a scene out. It's like watching Coco.
That kind of sounds fun, actually.
It's delightful. I enjoy looking at it. It's funny.
Maybe they could set it up in like a sports formation, like a famous play or something like that.
That would actually be hilarious.
They'd like get the skeletons in the Lamar fumbling position or something like that.
That would be tough.
That would be pretty funny. That would be pretty good. By my house, this is on LaGrange Road in Linden. I'm sure if you're listening and you're in that area, you've probably driven by it. But there's this house on LaGrange Road, popular house. Or popular road, I should say. The house itself, I don't know if it's popular or not. I'm not in the housing social circles.
Well, the sports talker lives there, so I mean,
I don't live on LaGrange Road, but it's near my house. But this house, they put up a giant skeleton, the ones that you're referring to, and they put it up in September, and then they keep it up until the year ends. So that skeleton will be up there on LaGrange Road until after your New Year's. And every year they add a little bit to it. Last year they added like a little doggy skeleton, so the giant skeleton was walking a doggy skeleton. And then after Halloween, they put like an apron on it and like a big kitchen oven mitt.
Okay.
And it's a Thanksgiving skeleton at that point. And then after Thanksgiving, understandably, they put on like a big Santa hat on it, and they put like lights around the skeleton, and then it's like a Christmas skeleton.
They are just getting their money's worth in the skeleton.
And then they finally, at the end of the year, the jig is up, and they put that stuff away. Thank God.
Do they bring it back for Easter and make it like a Jesus skeleton?
No. I totally see what they do. They're just like, this thing is a pain in the ass. It's a what to store. It's hard to put together, so I ain't only keeping it up there for 31 days. If I'm going to take all this trouble, we're putting it up there for 3 months. Actually, now longer than 3 months because they started in September. And they probably have a lot more space in their basement when that thing goes up. That's my big question for the big skeleton people. Does it take up as much space as it appears? And I know that I know that it comes apart, that you can like take it apart and store it, so you're not just carrying this 27-foot skeleton into your house and down into your basement. But even when you take it apart, it looks like that it would just take up mass amount of space. Is that so for the ginormous skeleton people?
See, I wish that it didn't come apart. So, like, if you bought that, you had to store it that way. Or, like, you can, like imagine you have nowhere to put it, so it just sits on your couch the other, 11 months of the year.
Yeah, I've done appraisals, producer Matt. You'd be surprised how many people just keep decorations out and about.
Don't worry, TJ. That's just Philip. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, he's part of the house. We're just waiting until October till we can put him outside. It's like in a different reality. There's around Christmas time, everybody has their Christmas trees on top of their car, but around Halloween, everybody has the giant skeletons that they're taking home to put in their yard.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we got those up yesterday, which was nice to get that done. I still have to do the outside. It doesn't take as long as the inside, but equally annoying and as frustrating. It's interesting being a dad, producer Matt, and we've always been like the Halloween house before we had kids and whatnot. But the wife this year, she bought a giant Bluey Halloween inflatable So we're already starting to like transition into like the kiddie Halloween. I mean, we've been doing that for a few years now. But it's interesting to see what the little one each year becomes scared of or likes or wants to play with. And she'll be 4 here in about like 2 or 3 days. So my last few days with a 3-year-old until the 1-year-old becomes a 3-year-old way down the road. And she is much more frightened by a variety of objects around the household that she didn't even bat an eye at last year or the year before. Maybe I'll, if I can remember to do it, I'll put on the Kentucky Roll Call Twitter community page the things that scare her the most. Am I a bad father? What's the now I'm asking somebody without kids. What's the fatherly move here? Do I take the things that are scaring her and put them away and just say, oh, like, oh, okay, sweetie, that those are too scary. I'll go put those back in the Halloween bin. Or, and this is what I've done, but I don't know if it's going to work or not work. I've tried to like make everything funny and silly. So if she's scared of something, we go over to it, we have her touch it, we have her look at it, and then Daddy makes it silly and she laughs and she has fun with it. We have some success with that, producer Matt, and she'll end up like going and playing with the scary thing and something like that. However, I've noticed she doesn't want to go to the first floor by herself, which has never been an issue for her before. She wants to exclusively use her upstairs bathroom, which has never been an issue for her before. And the obvious sign of why she's doing those things is because she's scared of things in the house. Even when she's not telling me she's scared of them, she's subconsciously scared of them. So, producer Matt, what's the play here? Give me some fatherly advice.
I think the trial by fire, exposure therapy, I think is good for a growing child. But there's always limits. There's always limits. You don't just, I wouldn't put her in like a locked room with all the things that she's avoiding, but
And then like start turning the lights off on and off and making loud noises and put the fog machine
banging on the door and got the strobe lights going.
That's what the wife wanted to do. And I agreed with you, Matt, that probably is too much. We probably saved that for next year.
Not trying to traumatize her, just trying to toughen her up a little bit.
When she's about to turn 5. One texter texted me personally. Like, what? Give me an example of some of the decorations. All right, so some of an example of one of the ones that's really scary to her. It's a head, producer Matt. So think of a head.
Yep, I'm thinking of it right now.
a human head, and it's eating a mouse. And when you push a button, the guy and then the mouse like squeaks, and it's like animatronic.
Oh, so you're like the animatronic families.
Well, not exclusively, but yeah, we like to. We've got buttons that like to be pushed for sure. A counter to that, we have a little mummy that you can push a button and it does the Thriller dance, and she loves that. Like that's one of her favorite things. She pushes that button all the time, and then she does the dance, and it's really cute. Another example is we have a zombie on a rope. This one's too much. I'll just come out and say this one's too much. It's a zombie that's hanging from a rope, and it's got an arrow shot through its head. That one is probably going to get put away.
You guys got like a fun house going on in there.
Well, it's Halloween decorations. So, we do have some scary stuff.
My family just put like cobwebs up on the tables and stuff like that.
I hate fake cobwebs.
The one thing that my family had was, I remember as a kid, they had one of those like old school, it was for Christmas, but it was one of the Santa animatronics. You press the button and you can just spam it over and over again. It would play like Jingle Bells at the loudest volume you could possibly imagine.
4-foot, 5-foot animatronic Santa Clauses are scarier than anything we'll ever put up for Halloween. I'll tell you that much right there. They look like real things. They look like real people. And they're creepy because they're kind of real, but you obviously know that they're not real. I'm out on the animatronic Santa Clauses. They scare me.
They're too big.
Yeah, they're just, I need them to be a little bit more fun. Yeah, I'm with you. But let's think what else we've got. Yeah, the guy eating the mouse. Oh, we have a baby. This one's totally on the fence. This one's a real gray area, producer Matt.
I feel like the more you're explaining them, you're like, oh, maybe we need to tone it down a little bit.
We have a zombie baby. It's like kind of like a gray pinkish baby, and it's wearing a diaper, and it's got a bunch of cockroaches all over it. This one is more confusing to the daughter. She was very curious why it had bugs on her. Is that Bad Bunny going up on the YouTube stream?
Yeah, of course.
Wouldn't know. Don't know who he is.
But you do now.
I do now. You're right about that. Yeah. The baby one's just more weird, I think, than anything else now that I am talking about it out loud. But if you got any fatherly advice, the Game Day Men's Health text line is 502-414-1450. Always a big deal to get that Halloween stuff
Text
set
line's
up.
already jumping.
I'm excited to get to it. We won't waste any time. We'll take our commercial break and we'll head straight over there. Big college football weekend, unfortunately for the University of Kentucky, not so much for them, but it is a big game, and you're playing Georgia. You're playing a ranked team. You're going to a place that they never lost, and they just lost, so there's interesting storylines to be had. But aside from Kentucky, it's a big college football weekend. We will talk about both the Cats and the rest going on in the college football world. We'll get Matt's opinion on the baseball from yesterday. I'll weigh in on the Red Sox win over the Yankees, and it's just mostly more bad stuff regarding UK football. But we do have basketball nuggets to get to in hour number 2, so you won't want to miss out on that. This is Kentucky Roll Call, Hump Day Wednesday edition of the show. TJ Walker and producer Matt, we're back after this.
Anxiety rising here at the stadium. Sogard instead sends one up the middle. Raffaello will head to third. Sogard aggressively going into second, and he is safe.
Welcome back, Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. Great playoff baseball yesterday. The first three games, just truly awesome baseball games coming down, in some instances, to the final pitch. And, well, I guess they all come down to the final pitch, don't they, to some degree?
At some point.
And then the Reds-Dodgers did not. Again, it ended with a final pitch, as sports often will, or at least baseball often will. But you get what I'm saying. Hopefully we can run it back again today, have 4 great games, and with the exception of the Red Sox-Yankees, I hope all of them go to 3. I hope the Red Sox go ahead and take care of business tonight. But we'll talk a little we'll talk a little preview as the show goes on. 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line if you'd like to get in touch with the show. I watched pretty much the entirety of that Red Sox-Yankees game. It was on a TV somewhere in my house. Now, whether or not I was like sitting down right in front of it and watching was dependent on bedtimes and other stuff going on. But great game. I love a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel, producer Matt. I don't know where you stand on that. If you're a long ball type of dude and you like home runs and a bunch of offense, but for me with baseball, there's nothing sexier than 2 pitchers just absolutely going at it. I think it is hilarious to me. You can get these batters, you can get people that just bomb 40, 50 home runs in a year, getting paid millions of dollars to create offense, and they just cannot touch this pitcher. I love when a pitcher is in the zone. You got that yesterday in really all the games except for the Dodgers and Reds. It was great pitching throughout the day, but especially in the Red Sox and Yankees game yesterday. But you get to the 9th inning, and you got to be creative with how you use your pitching, and pitchers can't go forever. So they bring in Chapman. Reds fans very, very familiar with the guy who quite literally probably threw the fastest ball I've ever seen in person. That's probably I've gotten to see Chapman, whether it be with the Bats or with the Reds. I don't think I've ever seen somebody throw a ball in person faster than him. And the 37-year-old still got it. But he loads the bases in the bottom of the 9th. The Red Sox leading 3-1. Yankees load him up, no outs, and Chapman looks a little rattled. In the Aroldis Chapman way. And he's usually pretty steady, so he doesn't look too shaken to begin with. But as Yankee Stadium is going ballistic, he is on the mound, sweating. He's a little antsy. It almost looks like he just wants to throw the next ball. Like, I don't want to take this break. I don't want to have to talk to anybody. I just want to pitch. And the 2 hits that he initially gave up were kind of unlucky. I mean, the first one was a good hit. But they barely got away. But before you know it, they're all loaded. And I didn't know what Cora was going to do. I figured they were going to let Chapman see it through, or at least let him tie the game up before just saying, like, all right, that he doesn't have it. Let's see before we give this game away, let's put somebody else in there. But I thought they were going to let him see the 4th batter, and they did. They get an out. Gets a strikeout. Now there's 2 outs, producer Matt. And at this point, he's locked in, and he knows that he's got him. And then he strikes out the 3rd batter. The Red Sox hold on. Despite loading the bases, they don't give up a run, and they beat the Yankees 3-1. That pitching throughout the day for both teams, really, really, really good stuff. Chapman was really good closing after initially not being so great. But I enjoy a good pitching duel, producer Matt. Not sure if you're the same way.
For me, it depends on, like, the status of each team. If I'm watching the Pirates and, like, the White Sox, then, like, not really. Because I'm like, these teams aren't very good anyway. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? If I'm watching a game like that, I'd like to see more runs because then the offense is kind of getting active. But if it's a game like that, like it's the Yankees or the Red Sox, or it's like the Dodgers and the Angels, or, you know, like a matchup that has, like, really good players on each side, like two really great pitchers, then yeah, I like to watch that. So if it's a good matchup between pitchers, then yes. If it's like two lower teams, then no, I don't like it.
If it's lower teams, maybe that's a different story. If it's June and you're going to the ballpark on a Friday night and it's two teams you don't care about, yeah, you probably do want to see more offense. Not me. I still would rather see a pitching duel. However, I get the appeal of that. But October baseball, when it truly feels like every pitch matters, where for the last 5 months you just didn't even care about most pitches just because it's baseball and you play 162 games, that's special to me. So I enjoyed yesterday. I bet there's going to be a lot more runs today, would be my guess. Who do you think? You know, I like to ask this question, producer Matt. Who's the biggest underdog in baseball today?
Either after last night, I'd say probably the Padres, or easily the Reds, if I'm not counting the Reds.
It's still the Reds. They are your biggest underdog on the day.
Yeah.
If you think that the Reds are going to upset the Dodgers, you can get them at plus 225. But they do not think the Reds are going to beat Yamamoto Moto.
Not with Zach Littell out there.
Second biggest underdog is my Boston Red Sox at plus 155. Vegas thinks that game is going to go to 3. And then plus 115 for the Tigers. So they're Detroit, they're slight dogs despite leading that series. And then the Padres minus 105 versus the Cubs minus 115. So they think that one is pretty much a pick 'em at that rate in the Padres-Cubs game tonight. Speaking of Vegas, the Yankees are down 1-0, but Vegas probably wants them to win. There's a lot of pessimism around the Yankees, but it's still surprising to me to see a public team in good standing for futures books, and that's from Hal Edgeland from BetMGM. So Vegas still thinks the Yankees are going to come back in this series and have a good showing in this October postseason. Let's get to the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. A texter says, John here. Hey, TJ, happy for you having fun watching your Red Sox take care of my Yankees in Game 1. Tonight, maybe a little more high scoring. I see the Yankees getting this one. On a side note, I asked Justin this morning, has he ever had a poor man's mocha? That is where you take a package of hot chocolate and put that in your cup of coffee. Is that something you guys would do or have ever done? To me, it's pretty darn good. We'll got to go talk to you later. All right, so John, are you just asking if we have hot chocolate in the morning? That is where you take a package of hot chocolate and put that in your cup of coffee. Okay, so you're mixing hot chocolate with coffee?
You ever had a mocha, TJ?
Is that what a mocha is?
No, it's like a chocolatey like coffee. So that's not legitimately what it is, but that would be a poor man's mocha, yes.
Okay, I'm not a coffee drinker, producer Matt. So I've had some like work meetings where people have been like, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. And I have to tell them I don't drink coffee. And sometimes they're still persistent about like, well, that's fine. It's just going to be a quick meeting. And then so to not feel like a loser, I'll just get hot chocolate. Which now saying this out loud maybe makes me feel like a bigger loser as a 34-year-old getting hot chocolate for a little lunch meeting.
They're like, who's this little kid I'm having a meeting with?
And then the jerks at the coffee shop are always like, the kid's hot chocolate for the grown man? The grown man, your little kitty hot chocolate's ready. Come on up here, little boy. Have your hot chocolate. You want to blow on it?
Come on, TJ. Where's the little guy at? Come on, bring him up here.
Like, woo, yeah, I love hot chocolate. I do love hot chocolate. Actually.
How many marshmallows you get?
I'll have hot chocolate year-round. That's not a seasonal thing for me. Same with chili, obviously. Chili and hot chocolate are not seasonal for our household. I do like marshmallows. Marshmallows are a welcomed addition to good hot chocolate. Coffee places, some of them have bad hot chocolate, shockingly. Some of them have better hot chocolate. Maybe around this holiday season, I'll give you a hot chocolate power rankings from my favorite coffee shops. But so that being said, John, I would never put hot chocolate with coffee because coffee is gross. So no, I wouldn't ruin a perfectly good hot chocolate by mixing it with coffee. Your thoughts, producer Matt?
I don't know. It's just something about a grown man saying, "Well, coffee is gross. I love hot chocolate." It's interesting to me.
Everybody's got their opinions.
It's a funny take.
And mine are right. John, sorry about your Yankees. Suck it, buddy. A texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line, which, by the way, Game Day Men's Health, they are redefining men's wellness. That's true. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, which is going to get you feeling better. When you get older, your body doesn't produce as much of them. That's not good. That's not what you're looking for when you're a growing big adult man like we're talking about. Peptides, weight loss, sexual performance therapy. Game Day Men's Health does it all. Defining a new era in men's health. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. And when you text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, you may or may not get a special little message from Game Day Men's Health. Totally worth texting in just to find out. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. It's not really for me to say. You text in, you find out on your own. Maybe the worst lyrics in the history of music. The Bad Bunny, the Bad Bunny one.
It's in a different language. They interpret the words differently. The English version is not how they would say it in their language.
It
doesn't translate perfectly.
I love that you're a Bad Bunny stan.
I'm a defender. I think it's going to be good.
But you won't be able to understand it, though.
Look, okay, let me back this up. When I listen to music, I am not the lyrical person. I listen to what it sounds like. If it sounds appealing, I will listen to it because I have really bad ADHD. So when I'm listening to music, I forget the lyrics anyway. Like, I'm not good with them. Like, when I'm driving my car and the song's playing, I'm not sitting here thinking about what all the lyrics are saying. I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty good, and I turn it up.
How about Bad Bunny's Yo Pero Sola? Would you like that?
Go ahead.
What does Yo Pero Sola mean?
No idea.
I think it means I am single or something like that, maybe? What is that? I want to find that out. Which translate to I twerk alone. Okay, good. Bad Bunny's Yo Piero Solo, translated to English, means I twerk alone.
Great lyric. Great title.
You like the title?
Love it.
Okay. You used to ignore me, now I ignore you. Before you didn't want to, now I don't want to. You used to ignore me, now I ignore you. Before I didn't want to, now I don't want to. I twerk alone, I twerk alone, I twerk alone. Okay, A. Perverts don't get near her. The club turns up when she arrives. Men are her hobby. She's spoiled like Nairobi. And you see her drinking from the bottle, and the boys and girls want to get it with her. She is older than 20. She showed me her ID. A, she's skeptical of love. She's been single before it was a trend. I mean, it's a horrible song, producer Matt.
I just like the way they sound. There are so many artists out there that you could look at their lyrics and be like, oh my God, this is terrible, but they sound good.
She has a problematic friend and another one that almost never talks, but the three of them are bad, and today she's wearing a miniskirt. It's just not a good lyric. Like, he's just...
I'm sorry that I'll break down the lyrical genius of Bad Bunny in my off time. I just like the way it sounds.
All right. I'm just seeing what the appeal is. I'm not there yet, but...
Look, whenever the Super Bowl halftime show comes on, there's not a single English moment from Bad Bunny. And I can't wait to drink that beer you're going to buy me.
I'm gonna owe you a beer. There will certainly be English-speaking moments during the Super Bowl.
When TJ comes on the show and he's like, I was tapping my shoe. I was up jigging, honestly. Like, it was great.
I don't think you'll have to worry about that. I'm with you, though. Like, a beat, you can have a song that has terrible lyrics. Obviously, Bad Bunny seemingly has several of them. But the beat's really good where you just, like, can't help but, like, tap your head. I don't doubt that Bad Bunny has some of those because there has to be some redeeming qualities to his music. But the lyrics so far aren't it. And I can't even understand them when they're in his native tongue. Texter says, my ears are bleeding, TJ, please stop. Yeah, see?
Well, I mean, that's just because TJ can't sing. But
well, no, okay. I'm actually probably doing Bad Bunny some favors with my singing. A texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line says, honestly looking forward to hearing this Bad Rabbit music. Apparently it's supposed to be good. We'll see in February. Well, good news, texter. You didn't even have to wait till February. You just got to hear a little bit of Bad Bunny in English with the TJ Walker translation. What did Michael Bennett think of the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime edition?
They were talking about it on Monday, and I don't do that show on Mondays.
You weren't there on Monday.
So I don't know.
Okay.
He probably didn't like it.
Yeah, well, I wonder what Spears had to say about it. I didn't get to hear Spears' opinion.
In knowing Spears, I feel like he wouldn't care.
He would just want to know kind of what talent he has around him, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, probably.
That's what Spears would want to be knowing about. Texters on the Game Day Men's Health text line. Howdy, this is Patrick with the News and Tribune. Justin is saving his banana for tomorrow. Hopefully his car starts working too. Hey, Patrick, thanks for texting in. We appreciate that. All right, so we leave it to our local journalist here, the Big J journalist from the News and Tribune, to give us the scoop.
I should have played the breaking news music. That's my fault. I missed that one.
The banana is for tomorrow. All right, good to know. And I also am hoping that Scoots was able to get his car started, but we haven't seen him, so he's probably not here, right?
I mean, I'm guessing so.
Well, we got a break coming up here in 7 minutes. Maybe I'll poke my head out the parking lot and see what old Scooter Dingus is up to. Thanks, Patrick, for texting into the show. Producer Matt is big brain. What were you big brain for at 12:19?
Probably my holiday take.
Oh.
Which I will give half the credit to Scoots because we were talking about this on Just the Cats, and I said the same thing, that it's not a holiday, and then Scoots was like, I agree with that. That's more of a celebration. I was like, that's a great way to list it. So Scoots actually elevated my take. So he gets 50% of the credit.
So the difference between a holiday and a celebration is strictly if you get off work or not.
Exactly. And you can have your own holiday. Like you said, like maybe you get off for something I don't. That's your holiday, not mine.
Okay. All right. So Scoots is celebrating a holiday most Fridays.
Possibly.
South End Josh here. Scoots acted borderline offended when I jokingly asked him why we weren't having a Reds postgame show last night. LOL, come on, Scoots. It was a good-natured ribbing, buddy. Hope he's crushing his health challenge. Let's go, Scoots. You got this. I would need to hear Scoots get worked up about that. Why would he get worked up over that? Does he get triggered that we say that he's not a real Reds fan and he's not allowed to talk about them anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I haven't gotten that sense from him at all.
Do they mean they reached out to him last night or this morning?
That's a good question, too.
I was like,
Scoots doing a Reds postgame show would be pretty funny, though. I would tune in. But he has to do 162 of them plus playoffs. He's got to do one after every single game.
That would be funny. Like, the evolution of that would be funny.
Scoots, all right, I'm seeing the screenshots from the interaction. Scoots, why aren't we having a Reds postgame show? Excuse me? You should have done a Reds postgame show tonight. I wake up at 5:15 every day. I'll be lucky to stay up for the whole thing. Scoots says, I would say I hardly got mad, was just looking for some clarification. Oh, no, Scoots definitely was ticked off.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Bad look.
South and Josh, I unfortunately do have to agree with Scoots. I wouldn't say that he was pressed whatsoever. He just was. I'm on Team Scoots here, South and Josh. Oh, that's good stuff. Texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line. An aspect of Mark Stoops' buyout I hadn't considered. Is he paying half of his contract to his ex-wife? Per my ChatGPT calculations, if he is giving 50%, his take-home pay after taxes is roughly $2.7 million. Obviously, not chump change, but maybe not enough for him to be okay with sacrificing any portion of the buyout. Thoughts? I haven't thought about the alimony aspect of Mark Stoops' buyout, but I will say, since that divorce, isn't that like when things just totally went downhill for Mark Stoops? And we have a lot of fun on this show, and we make a lot of jokes. We won't like wade into somebody's personal life with that, but I'm pretty sure he got divorced right after that 10-win 21 season. Like I think it was like that winter. And then 2022 was a disappointment. Could have gone differently, but was ultimately a disappointment. 2023 was okay, and that's what we were hoping. Like, all right, is this like the basement of the Stoops era? Because for this being the worst of it, this isn't so bad. But it wasn't like it had been, obviously. we all unfortunately remember last year. That was a huge step backwards. And then things aren't going great this year. So regardless of the buyout and alimony and how that all could work out, it is just true that Mark Stoops has not been as good as a football coach since he's been single. Producer Matt, do you think he's hitting the town too much? And instead of focusing on football, he's focused on chasing tail?
I think maybe it's the opposite, where like maybe he's using the downtime at UK to chase the tail. Or he's like going to women. He's like, I'm really upset right now, guys. I just haven't been motivated in a long time. And I really need something to really get me out there and going. And they're like,
a good woman may be his motivation.
It may be.
That may be his true motivation. But in all seriousness, UK football stinks. And I'm not past looking at anything for why things have taken a sudden turn. But there is no denying, going back to the winter of 2021, after that great 21 season. Well, actually, hold on. If it was winter of 21, that means the 21. Okay, that's a big mistake on my part. Hand up on the live stream, because then that would have meant the 21 season was after the divorce. But that got vacated. So theoretically, my point still stands true. Unfortunately, it doesn't, because that 2021 season was good. But since then, things just haven't been all that great. Let's see if we've got any more time.
Scoots actually gave us another update that he wanted you to read. And he said, first off, Michael agreed with Matt, which I thought it was Justin because Michael and I never agree with each other.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
That was on me. He said, Halloween is definitely a holiday.
Yes.
And I'm at the car shop now, so no need to poke your head out.
Okay. All right, so Scoots is on team Halloween is a holiday.
Which is wrong.
Of course it is a holiday. Just because you don't get off for it doesn't mean it's not a holiday. In hour number 2, we're going to talk more college football, look ahead at some of the games this weekend. Vanderbilt taking on Alabama has become a national storyline because both teams are ranked for the first time playing against one another since, 1937, I believe. And there's just, it's almost hard not to root for Vanderbilt football. We will talk about that in hour number 2. We've got practice notes. We are going to discuss Kentucky basketball. Jack Pilgrim keeps coming with the practice notes. We'll talk about it. There was one thing that was stated in the practice notes that makes me terrified, producer Matt. It legitimately was concerning, and it was not meant to be concerning whatsoever. And I don't know why more people aren't a little bit worried about this caveat that's out there regarding some of those practice notes. So we'll get to that also in hour number 2. I want this text line to stay as steady and rolling as it has been. It's been really, really good, and there's like dozens more to get to, so we'll get to those. Keep those coming in. Producer Matt, TJ Walker, not going anywhere. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, back for hour number 2.
bro.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. I am TJ Walker on this lovely Wednesday in Louisville, Kentucky. Across the cement wall from me is producer Matt Childers. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. And if you hadn't eaten lunch yet, Salsaritas. 3 locations in the Louisville area, Middletown, St. Matthews, and they're out in Bullitt County, right off I-65 in Shepherdsville. Download that Salsaritas app. It'll save you time. It'll save you money. And I've got some exciting news to share about Salsaritas. It's their birthday month, and they're celebrating with a special treat. A limited edition birthday cake dream cake dip. What? That's right. Birthday cake dream cake dip available only during October. Cheesecakey goodness blends with notes, sweet vanilla cake, and creamy frosting to make our special birthday treat served with our delicious cinnamaple chips. Is your mouth watering yet? Mine are. Run, don't walk, because it's only here in October at Salsaritas. So you only have 31 more days to have this. And I have tried it. They gave me a little sneak preview of it when we were out there at Salsaritas a week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. It is incredible. They're wildly addictive chips. You always just think about with queso, guacamole, salsa, whatever it may be. They have special chips, cinnamaple chips. So it's all the same fun of their wildly addictive chips, but with a cinnamaple seasoning on it. And then instead of dipping it into salsa or queso, you dip it into this dream cake dip. It is unbelievable. It is so good. You got to try it in October at Salsaritas. It's the only place doing this sort of stuff. 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line. All right, producer Matt, where are we going here to start hour 2?
Don't know. Where are we going?
Oh, producer Matt, you're part of the show. Where do you want to go to? Should we go to the text line? Should we get some quick hitters? Should we talk football? Should we talk basketball? There's a lot to get to.
I mean, I was interested in what you wanted to talk about the practice rounds or the practice news.
Sure. All right. We are getting closer to Big Blue Madness, and this month Kentucky is going to play 2 exhibition games. They're going to play Purdue. 2 Final Four contenders are going to start playing basketball against each other this month, which is pretty exciting. It's getting here, folks. It's going to be here before you know it. The season just 4 weeks away. And again, like I said, exhibitions and preseason games even before that, which is going to be fun. So they're playing. They're on campus. They're practicing, and you're getting the insiders. More and more info's leaking. And Jack Pilgrim's been amazing at getting this info. It's a delicate dance you have to deal with this. On the one hand, you have to get the news out there that they want you to put out there, but you can't put too much out there or your sources may get mad at you. And then you also have to take it with a grain of salt. The stuff that's out there, is this what UK wants to have out there? Is this what they were okay with allowed at having out there? Is this what they're pushing or promoting? And the good thing is Jack Pilgrim's not a butt slapper. He's not going to disrespect any of his sources, but he's also not going to just like play the game to play the game. He's not going to put stuff out there that he doesn't think is true. But it is a delicate dance of when you are receiving information for practices that you're not at. He's not there. He maybe has gone to one. I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me if he has been to one. But this is info that's being relayed to him. So all to say, though, you just got to take all this stuff with a bit of a grain of salt. Put as much stock into it as you want. But he kind of goes through all the players. UK is going to have a pro day next week. Big Blue Madness is the week after that. SEC Media Days are in about 2 weeks. And then, it's within 3 weeks. We're talking about Blue-White game, and then the Purdue game is, again, 21, 23 days away, whatever it is. Otega Owe is still hurt, but he's getting back. There's nothing to worry about big picture for the start of the season with Owe. I do think it's maybe unlikely that he's going to play against Purdue, but who knows? We're still 3 weeks away from that. And Jack just kind of goes through the players: Jasper Johnson, Denzel Aberdeen, Mo Diabate, Brandon Garrison, Jaden Quaintance. And producer Matt, I highly recommend these listeners go and subscribe to KSR+++. Jack does incredible work. Go read the message boards. They are valuable. If you're a true blue Kentucky fan, I'm sure you're probably already subscribed, but if not, you should be. You can get all this information as soon as it's out there. You don't have to wait for a radio show to regurgitate it a day later. And there was a lot of things that stood out of like, oh, this is interesting, that's interesting. But it's being discussed, and I'm going to just say this is a little hyperbole. But producer Matt, it's being discussed that Trent Noah may be Kentucky's best rebounder. And while almost all of the insider notes we're getting, whether it be from Jack Pilgrim or from another website or Cats Illustrated or whoever it may be, Ben Roberts, he's got insider notes as well. If it's not hyperbole, if Trent Noah is Kentucky's best rebounder, UK is just not going to be as good as I think they are. I love Trent Noah. I think he could be a very important piece on this team. I think he could be a good rebounder. You hear more about his shooting, and that's great. But if it's the end of the season, and without knowing how it ended, but we went through, all right, Otego away led UK in points. Okay, well, that makes sense. Jalen Lowe led UK in assists. Okay, well, that makes sense. Trent Noah led UK in rebounding. Well, let me stop you right there. Because if that ends up being true, if that ends up being the case, it either has to be the most consistent, balanced rebounding effort in the history of college basketball, or Kentucky didn't make a Final Four. I don't envision a scenario that UK's ace on the glass is 6'5" Trent Noah from Harlan, Kentucky, is the dude that cleans up the glass. Now, I can get on board, and I think Jack said that he has been the best hustler, the guy getting on the floor doing all the dirty work. I can believe all that stuff, and that translates to rebounding, and that makes you a better rebounder. If you are just willing to have your body fly wherever, don't worry about a thing. There's an IQ aspect that goes to rebounding, being able to track a miss. Okay, well, they're shooting from there. I need to be over here because there's an IQ angle that goes into it. I can totally buy Trent Noah being a good rebounder. But if he's a better rebounder than potential lottery pick Jaden Quaintance, something ain't right. If Malachi Moreno and Brandon Garrison in practice are getting out-rebounded by Trent Noah, that worries me about UK's front court. Now, I'm just going to take this as a little hyperbole that, hey, Trent Noah's rebounding is being noticed. And that's a great thing. I don't want to be guilty of hyperbole and then taking one thing and potentially shaping it into a negative, because then I'm being the hyperbolic one. So I think at the end of the day, I'm taking this as, hey, Trent Noah continues to progress. If you're not expecting that dude to get minutes and playing time, you're just not paying attention. And he's also working his ass off on the glass. All right, I can get on board with that. That all sounds good to me. And I do buy into that. If Trent Noah's playing this year, he's getting minutes, he's getting meaningful minutes. He just better not be UK's best rebounder. I want Kentucky to win a title. I think they're good enough to win a title. They don't win a title if Trent Noah is leading UK in rebounds with 6 rebounds per game. Which, by the way, he averaged under 2 per game last year. Now, it was only with 11 minutes. But that out of all the positives and all the things to get excited about, and the season's right around the corner, and there's so much excitement, legitimate excitement, not fabricated hype, not Matt Pilgrim's a beast, but legitimate, actual thing. You're going to have probably the SEC preseason player of the year in Otego away. I'm not even really worried about the front court. But if Trent Noah is dominating practices, soaring over Brandon Garrison and Malachi Moreno to get rebounds, and then even when Jaden Quaintance is going to be healthy, there's this, he may not be as good as a rebounder as Trent Noah. It just worries me a little bit. There were two other things that stood out about the practice notes. One positive, one gray area. But that was the thing that kind of stood out the most, just people reacting to it, talking about Trent Noah, other people talking about how good he's been doing in practices. I was just, that was like the smallest, slightest little red flag throughout all of it. I don't want Trent Noah to be UK's best rebounder. Love Trent Noah. A Trent Noah guy even. But don't want him to be UK's best rebounder. Producer Matt, your thoughts?
I mean, that's definitely not what you want to happen. Now, like you said, you can take it as hyperbole and then, like, they're just really hyping him up. But at the same time, like, it's a really exclusive way to do that. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many other ways you could have worded it if that's what your goal was to do. So it wouldn't surprise me if hearing that were to be kind of concerning to you. It would definitely, like, if I was on the other end and I was listening to it, it would be concerning to me.
A texter says, best rebounder doesn't equal him leading the teams in rebounds. Not enough minutes. They probably just mean he's the best at knowing where the ball will bounce and finding the rebound. And you're exactly right. You're really exactly right about all of that. Being the team's best rebounder doesn't by itself have to translate to leading the team in rebounds.
But doesn't that make it worse?
But shouldn't it normally, right? Like the team's best rebounder is probably going to be the player that averages the most rebounds per game, because that's an incredibly important part of the game of basketball.
Like if he's the best rebounder on the team and he's still not getting minutes, then that's another problem.
And it sounds like the way people are talking up Trent Noah is that, like, he is going to have to get minutes between his shooting and his rebounding. But I will just, without even seeing this team practice, without ever seeing this collection of UK talent together on the court, Trent Noah is not the best rebounder on UK's team. Maybe it's because he's only 6'5" or 6'6", and that limits him. But all the same, that's part of the equation, right? You don't go by just willpower for rebounds. Like, I'm a decent rebounder for being 6 foot, producer Matt. But if I'm playing against somebody who's 6'7", guess who's going to get the rebound more times? I mean, almost all the time. It's going to be that 6'7" dude. So that's one thing. All right. But you are right, texter, that, like, just because he may not lead the team in rebounding doesn't mean he's not a good rebounder. Fair enough. Two other things, and I'll start with the positive. Oh, no, I'll start with the gray area negative. I'm putting Jasper Johnson in the Andre Yelovich wait and see tier. I've got my tiers. I've got good tiers, great tiers, wait and see tiers, down the road, maybe in a couple years tiers. Tiers for when UK loses. Jasper Johnson just must be the most inconsistent player on this team, and it's by a wide margin. I think Brandon Garrison probably would be in that category as well. Maybe Braden Hawthorne, who you could chalk up to just being young. And Jasper Johnson's obviously young as well. But it seems like you get one practice report that's like, this dude, watch out. And then you get another practice report that's, okay, guys, he's a little ways away. The most recent one from at least KSR was, watch out, everybody. Old Jasper, he's going to get some minutes. I worry about Jasper Johnson more than most on this team. I worry about Jasper Johnson more than Colin Chandler, more than Denzel Aberdeen, obviously more than Jalen Lowe and Otega Away. I have no idea what to expect from Jasper Johnson. And the only thing, as somebody that used to deal with the inside sources and deal with the coaches and have to figure out what was kind of real and not real, the way this reads with me for Jasper Johnson, and I think Jack has said as much for what it's worth, and Ben Roberts, I'm sure, is, when I say this stuff, I don't want to like say like, oh, this is original to my take. I'm sure it's been out there before. I maybe just haven't seen it. I bet Jasper Johnson's just the streakiest of streaky shooters that this roster has. I bet he'll have some practices where it's like 26 foot 3 doesn't even hardly touch the net. It was so pure. And then I bet he'll have a practice where it's like, hey, Jasper's missed 15 straight threes. That's the only way that I can kind of make sense of one very pro Jasper practice report, and then a week later you get one that he's fallen behind a little bit. And this one from Jack from yesterday, which again, go subscribe and check out, it was a positive one. But it's coming off most recently another negative one. So all that's telling me is that you may have a Jasper game where he goes out there and he puts up 14 points and you're like, dude, play that guy more. And then you look at his next 3 games and he doesn't combine for 14 points. And he doesn't combine for 14 minutes. If I'm Jasper Johnson, I'm working my ass off and I'm being like the best teammate in the world because I think his streakiness is going to be an excuse for UK not to play him. And then because you got so many players, you got so many other pieces. So if I'm Mark Pope and you've got somebody that may have it one day, may not have it another day, you probably just don't want to risk 15 minutes of not knowing what you're going to get. So one area where Jasper can help on that is don't give any like poutiness, don't give any reason to sit on the bench any longer. Be the best teammate you can be hungry to get out there. Because if he's going to be, and maybe he's a volume shooter type of guy as well, and these things can go hand in hand, where it's a deep roster and it's a deep team, but Jasper just needs to get the flow of the game for 15 minutes. And maybe it is him missing 3 shots in that stretch, but just wait. The payoff will be there once he gets comfortable. But with Kentucky, you may not be able to do that with this roster. Would you want Jasper to be out there for 15 to 20 minutes figuring it out with maybe a payout or maybe not a payout when you've got Colin Chandler, just ready to get out there? Or if you've got Denzel Aberdeen, a national champion, on the bench, and it's like, all right, how much longer do we wait for Jasper? Because these guys, they can go out there and get it. But it could also be a scenario where you put Jasper Johnson out there and it's been 10 seconds and he's already hit a 3. Oh, he's got the ball. Oh, he just hit another 3. 6 points in 12 seconds for Jasper. It could be that too. He is as big as a wild card as it gets on this team. You could say Jaden Quaintance with his injury because you don't know how he's going to heal and come back from that and when it's going to be, and that's a question mark for everybody. But in terms injury withstanding, Jasper Johnson, if he ends up being first round good, this team's going to be unbelievable. I could see a scenario too, though, where it's, he could go pro. They like his potential, but he doesn't have a lot of tape because he didn't play a ton. But maybe he could transfer to and be the star somewhere else. Anything goes for Jasper Johnson in my 2025-2026 season expectations for him. And I do think as we get closer to the season, I'm going to do like a day-by-day, player-by-player breakdown. Not that we'll spend 2 hours talking about one specific player, although maybe we should try that. See if it's 2 hours, and we have to talk about Andre Yelovich for all 2 hours, and we can't talk about anything else. That'd be pretty challenging. I don't think you have to worry about that, but we'll probably do a player breakdown preview as we get a little bit closer to the season. But that's my take on Jasper Johnson. Producer Matt, I'll allow you to comment, and then I'll get to my final one, which is a nothing but a positive.
If we came down to the fact that I was showing up here with you and you were doing a 2-hour breakdown for one entire player, you probably have to produce it because I'd probably fall asleep.
Understandably so. I wouldn't blame you for that.
It's about honestly the only comment I got. I'd be like, TJ, you got this one. I'll be in the talent room. You just wake me up when you need me to comment on something.
But Producer Matt, as a U of L fan, you're not worried about Jasper Johnson, correct?
Not really.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be.
Like
now,
you said,
he could end up being really, really good, but I think when you're looking at UK's roster, he's not one of the first ones to jump out at.
Like you said, every roster has that dude on it that's extremely streaky. Like, they're going to have a couple games that go out there, and you're like, oh, my God, this guy looks like he's the best guy on the floor. And the very next game, it's like, oh, I see why this guy doesn't get any minutes. And that's kind of Jasper Johnson to me. Like, he has a really high ceiling, but also a pretty low floor, and it's just like, where is he going to level out at?
Streaky is concerning. When you have consistency and you have a good team, streaky is very, very concerning. Just ask Trevor Kelsey's underpants. The final one that stood out, and I do think it was a positive, and now it's nothing but a positive for me, is that Jalen Lowe has been UK's best player. Producer Matt. I feel like if I was a U of L fan and I heard that, wait, this UK team is super talented and loaded and Jalen Lowe's been the best player in these practices, I feel like U of L fans would foam at the mouth at that. And you are seeing some national media members that have hinted that, like, all right, if Jalen Lowe is going to be that important piece for Kentucky, I may have them ranked too high. And we're going to get Evan Maikawa on the show soon. He came out with his preseason rankings, had UK at number 10, which I think with Jaden Quainton's status up in the air, I think that's okay. There's not 9 teams better than UK when healthy. But if you want to, as of today, and Jaden Quaintons isn't playing as of today, so I've got them at 10. All right, if you want to play that game, that's fair enough. But not a lot of people have thought about Jalen Lowe being the top dog for UK, and according to Jack Pilgrim, he is as of today.
Jalen Lowe, I mean, obviously coming from Pittsburgh last year, we played him twice. I mean, he's really good. Like, he was easily Pittsburgh's best player. He was the only, basically, sign of a life force, like the only sign of a pulse on that team. It doesn't really shock me much in the fact that, his talent that he had at such a bad team moves over to a really good basketball team and it elevates him. I wouldn't say it's something that I really worry about. I mean, we kind of handled Jalen Lowe last year. Like, we don't have Chucky Hepburn to guard him again, but, we'll see what happens. It's not something I'm scared of just yet. If he comes out there against Purdue and is putting up, like, 22 and 10, then maybe I'll be a little nervous.
Jalen Lowe, in being handled by U of L, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Pretty good game for Jalen Lowe.
You didn't read the other point guard stats in that game.
And then 24 points in the other meeting, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. Both losses for Jalen Lowe against U of L. He played on a terrible Pittsburgh team that went 17 and 15 and 8 and 12 in a terrible ACC. And Chucky had some good games against him, I believe.
Yeah, had pretty good games against him. 37 and 6 for 6 and 9 for 13 is pretty good. He's not the best defensive player in the world.
But was Chucky a good defensive player?
Yeah.
Okay.
All ACC on defense.
Well, Jalen Lowe had 24 points on him then.
Yeah, he also gave up 37.
But if Chucky's a really, really, really good defender, and he's getting 24 points scored on him.
I see the point you're making. I'm saying, if he can.
No, U of L fans, they put too much stock in those games from last year just altogether. Pittsburgh was terrible. U of L was a better team. Lowe had good games, but U of L's guards had good games. So, I mean, it's all just a wash, realistically. You can't make any grandiose takes from the meetings from last year.
I mean, you can.
Well, it'd be a bad take.
I'm doing it right now.
And it's a bad take. But you can, yes, you most certainly can, but it doesn't mean anything. Right?
I'm just saying I'm not afraid of him just yet.
No, and I'm not even trying to argue with that sentiment because that is the overriding sentiment of non-Kentucky fans and potentially even some Kentucky fans. Like, don't be scared of Jalen Lowe. I'm not scared of Jalen Lowe. That's the sentiment, and that carries. Jack Pilgrim's here to tell you, though, you need to be scared of him. And it is worth remembering Otego Oweh has been out. So when you're talking about the best player at practice being Jalen Lowe, well, the SEC preseason player of the year and Jaden Quaintons, who's a projected lottery pick, those dudes aren't practicing. So when you're laying it all out there, you are probably taking out the 2 biggest options. And what's left? A lot of really, really, really good pieces. And the best of those pieces have been Jalen Lowe.
I think the point of it for me is the fact that, like, he has defensive issues. He's a great scorer, great rebounder. He can handle the ball really well. But, I mean, in both games against Louisville last year, like, he just, I mean, 9 for 9 from 3. I mean, you just jump on the dude at that point. Like, he hasn't been great on defense, and I think that's what worries me, especially when you're playing in the SEC in a conference where, I mean, the offense is just getting faster and faster. Like, my thing is, like, yeah, Jalen Lowe can put up points, but can he keep up with the other team?
Well, and again, I watched those games last year, but I didn't think that was going to be UK's starting point guard moving forward, so I didn't key in on the matchups. But to say that, like, all right, well, he played on this team and guard on other team put up this amount of points, and saying, well, that's clearly your fault, right? Like, you should have been guarding him better. It doesn't always work out that way, right?
You're right.
I mean, it usually doesn't work out that way. However, it's an easy thing to point at and pick at with it. I don't think they brought in Jalen Lowe to be a Lamont Butler type defender, but I do think that there was a reason they brought him in. He is athletic. He's very fast and shifty and quick. He can get to his spots on the floor. He is a good passer. It's just at Pittsburgh, he had to score more. And that's what I'm going to be curious to see. And he has been saying in the interviews that he has been doing this summer, I don't want to have to score that much. I don't want to have to shoot that much. I can if I need to, but I want to facilitate. So I think you're going to see Jalen Lowe take more of a passing role in getting guys set up and open. However, if he likes a one-on-one matchup, he's somebody that can go and get to the rim. Now, Jack took it a little further in talking about how he is sure that Jalen Lowe is going to have a great year. And I'm pretty sure of it too. Like, I think Jalen Lowe is going to be really good. But he was saying that he's going to be so good that he's going to probably have a draft decision after the year. However, with his body and with his size, it's not like the thing that NBA teams love more than anything. A guard that is 6'2" and like a $170. That's not NBA size guard necessarily.
No, I mean, I think the average guard is like 6'5", 6'6" now at this point.
Yeah, that's small. There's no doubt about it. So Jack has kind of alluded to, like, he's going to have a decision to make after the year. Which, to me, all this is fun. This is what it's all about. This is what radio's supposed to be. This is what message boards are supposed to be. Forget about if he's going to have a good season or not, producer Matt. We're already at the point where, like, it's going to be such a good season for Jalen Lowe, he's going to have some draft decisions to make.
I think he's going to be a great player. Like, under Mark Pope and under that system, he's going to excel. Like, if he was already doing what he was doing at Pittsburgh, who is, I mean,
cheeks,
horrible, like, he's only going to get better.
Yes. And
I agree with you in that sense, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point, too, that, like, don't even take into consideration the Pope effect. This isn't Jeff Capel coaching this dude anymore. It's a real coach. It's a real coaching staff, and they're going to develop him. Similar to how Amari Williams was a great player at Drexel, but was not even considered on draft boards, and then he goes to UK and he ends up getting drafted. Kobe Barea had been a great shooter at Dayton for a ton of years, doesn't get drafted, comes to UK, now he's in the NBA. You could have a similar effect to a Jalen Lowe. As a matter of fact, he will become a better player just because Mark Pope is his coach. Where I just love the fact that we're talking about an NBA decision for this dude. And what they allude to is that, like, his NBA stock's never going to be super high, but he's going to be such a elite college talent. It's going to be like an Otega-Owe situation where it's like, yeah, you can go pro and you can probably make a summer league and maybe a practice and a two-way roster potentially. But wouldn't you rather be the guy and get one of the biggest bags in NIL? And Otega said yes to that. The conversation here in October 1st is that come April of 2026, Jalen Lowe may be making that same decision, which I love. I love that we're doing that because that means Jalen Lowe is going to have a hell of a college basketball season. And if UK's starting point guard has a hell of a college basketball season with potentially the preseason player of the year at the 2, some great shooting at the 3, a lottery pick potentially at the 5, and anybody's guess at the 4, but a lot of options, that probably means a Final Four. So I take the Jalen Lowe news as nothing but positive. I love hearing that guy's balling out. I initially was a little hesitant of the addition, but the more I looked into it, the more you realize that he was actually a baller and Pittsburgh put him in a bad spot. So I like that Jalen Lowe news as well. Those are some of the nuggets from the practice notes via Jack Pilgrim. We're going to take our last commercial break. We'll come back. Your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line. Maybe a look ahead to college football, but we can always save that for tomorrow if we have to. This is KRC on the Big X.
Outs.
And now, the last hope for the Yankees, a man who's had so many big swings for them this year, Trent Grisham. Chapman is ready. He throws. Fastball! Swung on and missed! He got him! Chapman leaves the bases loaded, and the Red Sox win Game 1, 3-1 in the Bronx.
The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. Welcome back. One final segment. Kentucky Roll Call. Go Boston, baby. This is KRC on the Big X. I'm TJ Walker, joined across the studio with producer Matt Childers. Make sure you are joining our Twitter community, Kentucky Roll Call, on X page. We've got a Facebook page as well. And you can get in touch with the show with the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. We're going to go to that text line right now and see what you all have to say on this lovely Wednesday. We'll do some trivia tomorrow with Corey Price, so looking forward to that, and a couple other things we'll get to before we end the show today. We are streaming on the YouTube. If you want to watch us there, just search for Big X Sports Radio or Kentucky Roll Call. All right, actually, let's go ahead and play this clip first. I do want to. It's a big weekend of college football. I hope the Cats shock the world and beat Georgia. But even if they do not, it's still going to be a fun week of football. And a good one in the SEC as well. Texas travels to Florida. I feel like nobody's talking about that game. But watch out for the Gators there. Vandy, Alabama, who would have ever thought that that would be a meaningful SEC game? But it very much is. Alabama given 10.5 points just seems like way too many.
That's a College Game Day, isn't it?
Oh, are they going to Tuscaloosa?
I think that's College Game Day.
Oh, that would surprise me. More on that here in just a second. But we can get back to it. And then Mississippi State at Texas A&M, another game that you look at and you're like, well, that's not that great of an SEC game. Mississippi State, 4-1. They had everything there to beat Tennessee. I was rooting for them. They came up just short. But that could be a fun game as Texas A&M is up to number 6 in the country. But Vandy, Alabama is one that a lot of people are talking about. Did you confirm that College Game Day is there in Tuscaloosa?
It is. It is in Tuscaloosa this weekend.
That's incredible for Vanderbilt football. And Clark Lee is on cloud 9 in Nashville, turning Vanderbilt football into something. He was asked earlier today, or maybe this was yesterday, about Vanderbilt's history with Alabama, which, like Vanderbilt's history really with any program, is not great. And here was his answer. And producer Matt, try to play it in 1.25 speed if you can, just because we don't need to take 2 whole minutes on this.
Okay, got it.
All right, here it is. Here's Clark Lee when asked about Vandy's pretty putrid history with the Tide.
I know you know the history with Vanderbilt and Tuscaloosa and how long it's been since you guys have won there.
I don't know that history, so
I don't know a whole lot of it.
Okay.
to change like things in the past like that though, how much of it is just believing that you can do it? Like you mentioned, this team doesn't have skepticism, like they all believe they can do it. How big of a deal is that when you go into a place you haven't won at for a while?
We just don't. Usually that's me and Laura talking after the game and saying, hey, some of these have been like, whatever it was, 1918 when we scored 70 whatever points. And my response to that is like, what in the world were they doing in 1918 to be able to score that many points? Was that tempo offense and spread? I mean, my God. We just don't pay a lot of attention to that. We're creating our own history here. That's how we see it. And that really is the spirit of this group. And I mean, even in the way this is Team 5, it's not because the history of this program isn't important, right? I'm a part of the history of this program. But there was an intentional, purposeful break to say what has happened before has no bearing on what is to come. And here we are 5 years in, and we've the kind of the methodical and investment over time, the painstaking, the suffering and sacrifice has given way to a program that feels solid and feels whole, and I think gives us a chance to again create the history we want to actually define this program.
Wait a minute, producer Matt. I thought you had to whine about how hard the schedule was. I thought you had to moan that you don't have as much money as the other programs in the SEC. I didn't think that you were allowed to have a positive outlook of your situation and say that we don't pay attention to the negatives and we're creating our own positive history here.
You're not allowed to say that.
Dude, what? I thought that you just had to be miserable all the time. I thought you just had to be a sad sap, but it's so hard. You got to go pony up. You got to pony up if you want to be good in this league.
I'm really glad you said that because I started laughing while he was talking, not because of the interview, but like I got a glimpse of one of the replies right under it, and it looks like, yeah, it's an Alabama fan. And first off, their name is Henry Ruggs III Burner, and their name is @RuggsInnocent. And it says, considering he played for Vanderbilt, I'm sure he's well aware of the history. This shows his poor ethics as he's lying publicly. I'm surprised he doesn't coach Oklahoma. Like, how hateful. The dude was really just talking about how he's trying to create a good culture. Why are people so hateful?
That's social media, right? That's just what they do on social media.
It was like the most positive interview I've seen in the past 6 months, and somebody had to bring it down.
That's the way that it goes on social media, producer Matt.
What era are we in where Alabama fans are beefing with Vanderbilt fans now?
It's a weird time. But it just sucks. It just sucks. That's a leader. That's a coach. That's somebody that has a vision and has a plan, and his players buy into it and love it. And then you get in Lexington, you get Mark Stoops, which is just rain clouds and storms and kicking needs one woman. I don't know. But that felt like that's how Mark Stoops used to look at things. And ever since Nil, it's just been so different for that dude. Where instead, he can't fake positivity if you offered him an additional $8 million to his $36 million contract. He couldn't even fake it. And instead, Clark Lee's getting Vandy ready to do battle at Alabama in a game that Vandy fans actually feel like they can win because they can. It's such a change of pace than what's going on in Lexington. How about a depressing UK football stat for you, producer Matt?
I'm ready for it.
You've seen those memes going around days since, and it's like the two people on there. And it's like days since your player did something terrible and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like a way to embarrass a team or a franchise or something like that. It's a popular meme. Kentucky's been memed, unfortunately. Days since you last won a home game, and it's the SEC logo, and it says, what? Days since you won an SEC home game? Everybody wins an SEC home game every so often. And then it's the UK logo, and it says 732 days.
Nice.
I think yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of UK's last home SEC football win. It was when Ray Davis just went bonkers on Florida. And I was at that game, and we got after it. We had a fun one that day. The weather was perfect. I was so pumped to get to see UK beat Florida in person because I had never seen it. I wasn't at that. My baby was being born the last time it happened in Lexington, and then I wasn't obviously down there in Gainesville for some of those other ones. So I wanted to see it in person. And producer Matt, we celebrated like that would be UK's last SEC win for 732 days. And I'm conflicted because there's two parts of me. On the one hand, did I over-celebrate, and that was karma, and this is the higher power's way of being like, well, sorry, buddy. That was just a Florida regular season home win. You shouldn't have acted like such a maniac. And as your punishment, no wins for 2 years? Or is it a good thing I went balls to the wall for that game? No, because I did. We had a blast for that one. Did I celebrate it appropriately? Because, boom, I'm not going to get another one for 2 years. You may as well live it up. Or is it my fault because we treated that one like a Super Bowl? I don't know.
I mean, honestly,
somewhere in the middle, probably.
I congratulate you for having the premonition that you weren't going to get another one. So you know what? We should celebrate every win like it's our last.
It's so that's what we did that day, and it actually, unfortunately, ended up being true in that scenario.
So but imagine the people who didn't. You're above them.
Somebody would have taken drunk TJ's little cheeks and been like, "This is the last one until 2026," which hopefully we get one next year. I don't think we're getting one at home this year. I wouldn't have believed you. I probably would have slapped you in the face and maybe puked on you. Like, no way that UK wasn't going to win it. This is 2023. You're telling me that UK is not going to get another SEC home win until 2026? That can't be true. How many coaches have been fired throughout that stint? No coaches. What? All right, here's another one. Days since you threw a passing touchdown against an SEC opponent. The SEC logo says bro, ... UK, 333 days since Kentucky's thrown a passing touchdown against an SEC opponent.
We're almost hitting a calendar year.
It's not even funny. I mean, it is on one hand, like on the very small, tiny, little scary movie hand, but on the real life, this is not funny at all. This is embarrassing. You're almost on a calendar year of not throwing a touchdown pass in conference. Get Stoops out of here. Mr. Bonehart, get him out of here. Hopefully you're a Happy Gilmore fan.
Yes, I understood the reference.
Okay, good. It is so bad. It is so terribly pathetic. All right, a texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line. I thought you always had to be a victim, a la Stoops. Good on that Vandy coach. Go Doors. They're like easy to root for, right? Vanderbilt's a little easy to root for right now. I hate that. I don't like Vanderbilt basketball or Vanderbilt baseball. I don't like Vanderbilt football, but it's hard not to get on board with like the little engine that could that's actually doing it. While our little engine that could is just ripping cigs and it's just huffing and puffing. Not going anywhere.
I just love it because Scooch just refuses to acknowledge that Diego Pavia is a top 5 quarterback in college football.
Okay, see, this is where like you can't try to corner Scoots. You can't try to corner him on precision because he'd probably be like, yeah, 6th or 7th, no big deal. You have to ask him like, Scoots, where would you rank Pavia?
Oh, he thinks he's trash. Like he thinks he's bad.
He wouldn't have him in like the top 20?
No.
Yeah, I mean that. Okay, see that. Don't corner him in like a top 5 thing.
Okay, maybe not top 20, but he thinks he's trash.
No, but wiggle him into something a more outlandish take because Scoots will do that. You're still getting to know Scoots. Pavia, top 5 I think is subjective because some people will weigh like potential and what team they play on versus level of competition, and it can get gray area.
I mean, they're undefeated in an SEC conference.
But I think it goes without saying he'd be a top 10 quarterback right now. So I wonder where Scoots would put him. Mormon Mamba will surprise the college basketball world the most. He's going to be a star. Are you talking about Colin Chandler? I like Colin Chandler too. And I think if Jalen Lowe actually ends up being a liability on defense, which I'm not conceding and I'm not even suggesting that he will be, I think Colin Chandler will not be.
That is so funny. When you first read that off, at first I was like, are we talking about A.J. Dabansa in this?
No. If you're going by the Mormon Mamba, A.J. Dabansta, you get down the list a little bit because Richie Saunders is the Mormon Mamba before A.J. Dabansta is. Richie Saunders, his teammate, I bet he has a hot take. Richie Saunders, a better overall college basketball player in 25-26 than A.J. Dabansta is. There you go. You heard it here first.
There's a lot of people with that at least like think that A.J. Dabansa is not going to be what people believe he's going to be.
Yeah, he kind of underwhelmed in the All-Star circuit a little bit this past spring. He was still really good, but people were like looking at him in a Zion Williamson light, and they came away from All-Star weekend like, oh no, we've got the wrong guy. Maybe Darren Peterson is more like that, or maybe even Mikal Bridges or Mikal Brown, is potentially more like that. The last SEC win in Lexington, weren't people still wearing COVID masks? Well, some losers are still wearing COVID masks for what it's worth. But, yes, they were. Texter says, today is the 3-year anniversary of the loss to Ole Miss. That, in my mind, is the day the Stoops era came unraveled. I was in Oxford for that one 3 years ago. I mean, just another gorgeous Saturday. Everything was looking like it was going to be a Kentucky win. And then a penalty flag came down, and the rest was history. And, yeah, I think you can make a case that 2022 season is totally different if Kentucky wins that game. And you could make a case that potentially the entire trajectory of the Kentucky football program is different. Maybe Stoops gets out of there. Maybe A&M's more likely to hire him in 23. Everything could have been different. But I do think if they win that game, which they should have won in Oxford 3 years ago against Ole Miss, things are much different, at least for the 2022 season, which ended up being ho-hum, all things considered. A texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line says, why does this producer keep saying he's not afraid of him? Kentucky leads the all-time series by a wide margin. You can be scared or not, you're still going to lose. Well, to producer Matt's credit, he's just saying specifically Jalen Lowe. He's not saying he's not worried about the game necessarily, although maybe you will say that. But you should be worried about the game. Kentucky's a really good team, even if it is at the Yum Center. But he's not. I think it's fair to say, like, all right, when it comes to the Kentucky Wildcats, Jalen Lowe's not the piece that I'm most fearful of.
No, it's Otega Owe.
I think that's a fair take to have.
When I read this text, I felt more disrespected because this person knows my name and didn't use it. They just said this producer.
Oh.
And like 4 texts back, they actually texted into Michael's show, said, Matthew was right. So they know who I am. Come on, man.
Oh.
Don't switch up on me now.
Yeah, this producer. Let's be a little bit more formal there. A texter says, all Pilgrim said is he fights on the glass. But no, there's more conversation about him potentially being one of UK's better rebounders. I'm not saying that specifically from Jack himself, but he does fight on the glass, and that's important. That's the caveat I want to take on it. I just wanted Trent Noah's not going to be UK's best rebounder. I know it's not a hot take. I just needed to say it. I just needed to get it out there. That's all. I'm sorry, TJ, but no one should be paying attention to who is saying Trent Noah is our best rebounder. Fair enough. Honestly, more bad rabbit, bad bunny comments. We'll get to those. The thing about Lowe, he scores with low efficiency on a really bad team. Will he score with that same efficiency when he is the third thought of the opposing defense, maybe the fourth?
That's my take on this is like...
And also, like, you know, for a guard at high volume, 38, 39, 40% is not the end of the world.
You're going to go, like you said, from a team where he's going to have to score on a high volume to a team where, like, he's an option. So, like, it's going to come down to, does he try and score with that high volume again, or does he look at himself as an option and, like, allow the game to come to him more, which is going to be his success?
No, that's a good point. And let's kind of look at it a little bit this way. Well, no, I don't want to go back to his freshman year. I was going to pull some Otega away numbers where his numbers were around 44%, and that was his freshman year. And even that was still 6 percentage points better from the floor than Jalen Lowe. No, his numbers need to improve. I just don't think you're going to have him shooting 33% on high volume at UK. Because if he is, Pope's going to take him out. Or Pope's going to tell him, hey, stop shooting, pass the ball to some other people. So I'm not too worried about the shooting numbers. And also, supposedly, he had a broken hand last year. So that probably would matter a little bit, I would think. A texter says, this is Patrick from the News and Tribune again. Well, thanks for coming back in. I was in Nashville for the APA individual tournaments like I am on Sunday here in Louisville. When Vanderbilt beat Alabama at home, I didn't see the field goal post go by where I was playing. What's the APA individuals?
I don't know. Let me find out.
Pickleball?
Maybe it sounds like.
American Pickleball Association? That could be anything, really. Anything that starts with a P, at least. That would have been
pool
cool.
Players.
Wow!
American Pool Players Championship.
So we've got a pool playing champion working for the News and Tribune?
Oh, there's also an APA pickleball. So there's an APA pool and APA pickleball.
Okay.
So I'm going to guess probably pickleball.
Well, Patrick, I think that you need to turn the camera onto you. I think the story needs to be about you and how the News and Tribune journalist has some athleticism. A texter says, Scoots is a bandwagon Reds and Hoosiers fan. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, we nearly had him on the Big Blue bandwagon until Stoops pooped the bed. And then IU got good, and now he's back to being all Hoosier, rah-rah, Hoosier, rah-rah.
He does love UK girls basketball.
He does. He is a ginormous Kenny Brooks fan. But I can confirm that he is a bandwagon Reds, and more importantly, a bandwagon Hoosiers fan. The Riddler here. I'd rather listen to Bad Bunny lyrics be botched by TJ than listen to TJ's horrendous sports takes. Hopped in the car and head on the station. Well, thanks, the Riddler. Mike Rutherford show listener. I'd hate for you to say that you were just listening to the show, but instead need to clarify that the show was on by mistake. However, I will take the slight compliment that you enjoyed listening to my reading of Bad Bunny lyrics, even if it was a backhanded compliment. My ears are bleeding, TJ. Please stop. Listen, I didn't make the lyrics. That's the Super Bowl performer. That's what they think is going to be the most entertaining thing. Maybe the worst lyrics in the history of music, says one texter. I'm just so sick of seeing Stoops on the sideline looking like a bag of quicksand and the same confused, stoic expression, not to mention his absolutely massive pimple that screams on TV. When is the last time Stoops has been animated coaching? His body language is just beyond terrible, and that he believes we don't have a chance in the SEC now. I'm also sick of seeing him on the sidelines. I'm sick of him doing press conferences. And it goes back to what I said in December of last year, November of last year. The dude just doesn't look happy to be at UK. He doesn't look thrilled to be representing the program. So if that's the representation of the program, somebody that doesn't want to be doing it, Billy Gillispie had significantly more charisma than Mark Stoops does. Excuse me, does my hot chocolate come with a toy? That's a good way to end the show. Hot chocolate is amazing. Everybody have a great Wednesday. This was a fun show. Thank you, text line. You all are amazing. I'll give out some salsaritas to a texter. And Trivia Thursday with Corey Price tomorrow. Producer Matt. I'm TJ Walker. This is Kentucky Roll Call.